this for a second?
What?
Bryan,
you already can ring it. Ring it because you got it right.
Well, no.
Yeah, ring it because you got it right.
That's an adorable. And by the way, how interesting that is probably the plot of a what? Fictional TV show.
Bryan,
so we're not
Bryan,
in fiction.
you don't
We're not in
understand
fiction.
sigil magic,
We're not in
okay?
fiction. What is it?
When people ask, is everything a conspiracy? The answer is yes. Who and what is controlling everything and why? They practice sorcery. I can't argue against magic. I don't know what it is that we live on, but I believe it's a realm. This realm that we live in is the lowest level of heaven, highest level of hell. Chicken snake gods and the Anunnaki and sorcery. If Sam says the chicken snake god is running everything, I'm literally in the world of crazy. I'm winning.
You're losing. Conspiracy Social Club, a.k.a. Deep Waters. Welcome to Conspiracies.
You jumped it a little too, but go again
What?
now. Just go again now,
Okay,
just in case.
guys. Yeah, welcome to the show of shows, of all the shows. It's the show that you love. It's called Conspiracy Social Club, a.k.a. Deep Waters.
AKA Highway to the Danger Zone. Touchy subjects.
Yeah,
Guys,
dog.
can
We're
I
in
start
it.
out with an
Oh,
apology?
we're in it? We're already in it.
Let me start out with an apology.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys can tell, but I sure can. I don't. Sugar doesn't touch my lips.
Yeah.
Alcohol doesn't touch my lips. Wheat doesn't.
Oh, what'd you just say? Alcohol?
Alcohol doesn't touch my lips.
Alcohol doesn't touch your
No,
lips.
and neither does wheat. So if I seem buttoned up and crazy energized,
Yeah.
if I seem like I got some lion's mane mushrooms going through my body,
Yeah.
as well as a whole bunch of other
Okay.
mushrooms,
All right.
I apologize if my energy seems very up, very clear, very direct,
Yeah.
and very correct.
Okay.
And very
Direct
correct.
and correct.
Yeah. I apologize if my fucking midsection seems otherworldly tight.
I didn't want to say
I'm sorry
anything.
if my midsection makes no sense for a 56-year-old, but my
Yeah.
arms are heavy, yet fast, yet viper quick.
Okay.
Everything seems to be all pistons on go.
Yeah.
I apologize for all of that.
Okay.
Okay. But that's what's going on. If you can't tell, my body's completely pain-free because shit's flowing. Right?
Okay.
If I have the flexibility of a fucking mollusk.
Hey, dude, we're Christian on a cruise ship.
Sorry.
Before you started, I was just going to say, please don't do that.
Yeah, please don't do that, bro.
I shouldn't
We
swear.
don't care about that you're apologizing to us for
No.
nothing. We thought we were going to have a real moment
No,
here.
I shouldn't
Were you going to
swear.
admit that
I shouldn't
216 episodes, you've really just you've just wandered the desert looking for truth, and you realize that you know no truth, and you're coming back to apologize for wasting Dylan and my time. Okay,
I'm sin-free. That's the other thing.
Okay.
I'm sin-free. So that's the other thing. When you're living correct and you're coming correct, and your heart is full of spirit, of the good spirit, and you're not being run by your nether regions or your tummy, but rather by a higher ideal that you can't quite measure, that you can't quite see, but you know is there through the corner of your eye, that you can hear clearing its throat in the other room.
Dylan,
you know?
can I ask you something? Does this have Chelsea Handler, I'm happy with no kids energy right now? Does this have that?
But I have 3 kids.
Okay, are you trying to convince yourself?
I want to apologize if I seem otherworldly energized.
Okay.
That's all it is.
Respect.
And you know what it is? You know what the end of the day is? And we're going to move on from this.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm optimized. Right?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. I'm optimized.
That's
That's
just
all.
the same thing you've been saying the whole time.
I know, but this car, this Ferrari, don't need to be in the shop, right?
Okay.
Right?
All right.
They ain't no everything is tied and buttoned down exactly the way it is. This ship,
all right,
tight.
Yeah.
This ship tight.
Yeah.
This ship tight as a drum.
How deep are we into this show right now? Do you have a time?
Why are you?
How deep are we in?
Why?
Let him off the stage.
Yeah. Yeah, what is this?
Wait,
the
Dylan.
Oscars?
I want to get to Dylan. Dylan said he suffers from You're taking Jungian analysis.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this?
Your therapist said you have unresolved guilt issues because you're Jewish.
Well, I don't want to get.
I do.
The Jewish mythos has an unearned guilt complex in it a little bit, and it manifests in nasty ways sometimes in the Jewish people. I don't really understand.
Is it survival guilt? What is it?
No, Moses didn't get to see the promised land. Many Jews got,
swallowed by the earth.
Oh, the earth. They were made to walk around the desert for a long time because a couple guys built a bull, but also Carl Jung might be a anti-Semite. Sorry.
Hey,
so it's very now.
Hey, we're on a cruise ship right now. Dude. We're on a cruise ship.
Man,
come on. Come on, man. We're cruising on a ship with Christians.
Man, oh man. Talk about it. This is not
I'm the only one who hasn't swore yet.
I don't know. It's not a Christian.
I'm the guy who likes to drop it like it's hot.
You got some good you got some good genetics going. You have no gray hair at 50.
You know what it is?
And a full head of hair.
When I shave down my beard, I literally shave off.
Yeah, but it's good. You're not
Thank
gray.
you, buddy. Not yet. It's coming.
Daddy's getting whiter and whiter in the head.
What's going on? So a lot to get into. Bryan, where are you going to be?
You know what? My shows in Edmonton, Alberta are almost sold out.
Oh, my God.
My shows in Nashville, Tennessee, March 2 to 4 are almost sold out. My show in New York City, Sony Hall, almost sold out.
Wow, Bryan.
Yeah, so I know it's kind of exciting. I just found that out on the way here. So get your tickets.
So you're doing great stuff.
That's what they say. Get your tickets. And then I got Levity Live in Nyack, March 16, 17, 18. Get your tickets. I'm coming, and I'm coming strong.
Yeah.
And you guys already heard what's going on spiritually and physically with me.
Yeah.
So you might want to bring a seatbelt.
High sperm count.
I wish I need to get seatbelts for my shows because it's a ride.
Yeah. Right.
It's a ride.
Right.
Right. And it's a little bit like a comedic bull ride.
Yeah.
That might be the name of my next special.
Comedic bull ride.
I want to call my next special Gray Wolf.
Gray Wolf. Well, I'm going to shoot my special. It's going to be called Weirdo. Okay.
I like that.
And I already have the name for my next special after that.
What is that?
Bad Man. Okay.
That's good.
So Weirdo the Bad Man. Okay. But hey, guys, if you want to see Sam Tripoli drop the hammer of the gods on some unsuspecting fools, just know tonight, whenever Dylan decides to work on this and put it out, this is going on. So tonight, I am in Tacoma, already sold out.
Really?
Yeah, that's sold out.
Dude, that's exciting.
The night before, if this came out maybe a day earlier, I could tell you about how I need to sell some tickets in Spokane.
You're sold out in Tacoma, both shows?
No, I need to sell some tickets in Spokane.
Oh, okay.
But don't worry about it. Dylan's got some weird Jew guilt about when this thing goes out. So, and then the following week, I am in Bloomington, Minneapolis, doing the House of Comedy. Then after that, at the end of the month, I'm in Yuma, Arizona, Crest Lounge. Then the night after that, I'm in Vegas doing an OnlyFans private birthday party who has fat tits. So, hey, is that Christian on a cruise ship?
You guys are really bad at constructive criticism. You don't like the way that it's dropped, and you do this shade throwing thing where you're like, what do you get around to it? And it's ridiculous. And then he's talking about how the thumbnails aren't good because of eagles have their wings coated in lead. I mean, you guys.
Yeah, I
feel like Dylan's going through something right now.
I just think this shows an eagle, and there might be forces behind the scenes that are coating this eagle's wings with lead, and this eagle just wants to fly.
Oh, do you think that it's possible that Dylan's been sent in to sabotage?
It might be. He might.
Is it possible that Dylan is an Israeli dancing Israeli? Is that possible?
I don't know. He might be just from the nether regions of the internet here to sabotage.
On to you, Dylan.
Show.
On to you.
To you.
Dylan, can we get into some stuff? Okay, this is going to be fun, and I can't wait to get Bryan's thing. So this is a young, attractive lady. She has
with
some
an
theories.
offensive filter.
What's that?
It's a strong filter.
Yeah, she's got these. Have you ever had girls come up to you after a show and be like, I want to take a picture with you, and then you look at the filter and you look like a Japanese cat? You're like, why do I look like a Japanese cat right now? Like,
no,
you've never done that?
No, but I want to look more like a Japanese cat. If you were to say, Bryan, You can look more like you can either look more like, I don't know,
a gay owl.
Brad Pitt. You can look more like Brad Pitt or more like a Japanese cat. Like if it was increments, I'd go Japanese cat.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but it just sounds.
It's unbelievable. Rosy cheeks, like no wrinkles.
Yeah, I love that.
Like this weird, like you look like you're just caked in makeup.
Yeah, well, that's
what this is right here. I call this Japanese cat.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, and it's very funny.
Go on. So let's see what this young lady has to say. I didn't move. Hey, do I have the worst camera, by the way?
Hey, Dylan.
I'm starting to realize
we gotta
that,
get better cameras. Dylan, what is that watch you're wearing?
It's a Seiko.
You wear a cheap watch.
Hey.
Why don't you get a better
watch? That was passed down.
If I start making a lot more money, I'm going to buy you an awesome watch.
Listen, this is what Dylan's great-grandfather smuggled that watch in his beehole in a concentration camp, okay?
One of the greatest scenes in movie history, Christopher Walken. I wore this uncomfortable hunk of metal in my ass. 6 years. I give this watch to you. Your father.
That's are we past Christian on a cruise ship, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, go on. So this smoke show chick thinks she has some inside, which I would like to believe. So let's hear it.
I don't know, call us conspiracy theorists, but does this seem a little too coincidental to you guys? 3 months ago, East Palestine, Ohio, ran a pilot program to respond to emergency situations. It gets better. They handed out free digital IDs called My ID, starting on January 26, 2023, just days before the train derailment. The My ID digital ID is a tracker with a QR code that tracks long-term health status of East Palestine residents, including, and I quote, difficulty breathing. It's almost like they knew something we didn't.
There it is, Brian. There's the receipts, brother. So, Brian, real quick, before you start going off on this, just know, Brian, that there's a show, what's it called? White Cloud? White Cloud. In which it's a Netflix show in which there's a scene in East Palestine, Ohio, where a train goes off the tracks and crashes, releasing chemical weapons, chemical stuff. And there it is. How a movie predicted Ohio.
I saw that.
Yeah, Brian. So Brian
It's called White Noise.
What?
It's called White Noise.
White Noise. Can you tell us the basic
Palestine,
plot?
though?
Yeah, in East Palestine.
What it says?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll tell you the plot.
Okay, let's hear the plot so Brian can dismiss it.
Wait. Can we just back up?
And Brian, fun facts.
Yeah.
Some of the actual residents of East Palestine are in this movie.
Yeah, that's great. Now, Sam,
Brian,
what is the conspiracy community saying that this was then?
it's called predictive programming.
Right. So what you're saying is that someone in the U.S. government,
Yeah.
yeah, a group of people
Yeah.
somehow
Yeah.
planned
Yeah.
this accident.
Yeah.
And you believe that?
Yeah.
That this was on purpose. Do you
yeah.
believe that actually?
100%.
Okay, so you think this was a planned thing to what? To what avail?
To what do you mean to what avail?
Who did this and why?
Well, there's
And
a lot
how?
of things.
Who did this?
Do you want me to play it?
Yeah, play it.
Who?
Play it. Play it.
Falling,
Why and
and
how?
I can't get up.
All right, dude. I know. Okay, but I'd like to know the.
You talked all over the drop. That is rude, Brian, to talk all over the drop. When you guys play Scientist Sam, I listen to it. I take my
Play
medicine.
it again.
Okay.
I'm falling, and I can't get up.
Senior Moments with Bryan Callen.
Both of you, be quiet. All right, now listen,
We've discussed this.
Sam. I would like to know from you, since you brought this up. I want to know who, why, and how.
Well, Bryan, most likely this is some sort of intelligence, deep state thing to do a couple things. One is there's a lot of farmland there. This takes a lot of what's the central plot of program respond to emergency situations of free. Wow, Bryan! Wow, Bryan! I guess it just sort of works out in that. Hey, can I ask you, Dylan? Can I ask you something? How many cities are in the United States?
5 million.
5 million cities, Bryan. 5, and that is a rough estimate. All right,
yes.
A rough estimate.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. Now,
but yet this city in this movie just happens to line up. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So they wanted to use this. They wanted a real life situation
Yeah.
where they could track. They could practice, see how well this new technology works to track people's health.
Yeah, Bryan. Yeah.
So someone in the deep state caused this accident.
It's definitely possible.
So that they could somehow implement. I'm gonna.
Well, this does a lot of things. One, Bryan.
Let me see if I can.
Yeah, let him.
Let me see if I can guess.
Okay.
So let's cause an accident.
Yeah.
So that we can now usher in digital IDs that monitor people's health, and that way we can do it there. And if we can do it there, we can ink spot it all the way out to the entire country. So now everybody has a digital, a digital ID, and we can track everyone. We can track everyone's health. But really what we want to do is just track everybody. Is that what the idea is?
You got it.
I got it? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, Bryan. Ring the bell. You got it right. Ring the bell. Come on, Bryan.
No.
Bryan,
Hold on.
this is very rare. Ring the bell.
So
you got it right.
My thing is, did anybody die in this event? Anybody die?
No. In Chicago, they just had somebody die.
No, but
they just
in
had
East
a big
Palestine,
explosion.
nobody died though. It was what was it? Just a.
Well, I mean, if Bryan, obviously, you're just a cold-blooded, dead heart human being. If you don't think all those animals dying is just not a big deal. We've lost a lot of animals.
Is it possible?
Okay, Bryan.
That East Palestine is a place where trains come through. It's sort of an epicenter where there have been accidents before, and people knew that highly toxic chemicals were always going through that particular area. Can you look up how
Bryan,
many train accidents have happened in East Palestine?
You asked the question, how many dead? There are thousands of dead fish.
Fish, bro. Fish.
Okay.
Dead.
Those are sentient beings, but I'm not a Buddhist.
Thank you.
I'm not a Buddhist. Sir, can you please look up how many accidents in East Palestine, Ohio, train accidents, if this is something that's happened? And can you look up whether East Palestine is a hub of some kind for train activity?
Can you look up if the chemicals that were spilled were actually banned a while ago?
No, they're not banned. They're actually, they're highly toxic though, and they mix them with something else to make piping. So right now they're in their liquid form, but to make pipes, CVC pipes or whatever they call it, you mix it with another chemical and then it creates that plastic. So, but this is a highly toxic chemical.
Yeah.
And it's flammable.
Yeah.
So that's why it's under all these, controls and when you
and why they burnt it off and all that.
Well, you want to burn it off apparently. Apparently burning it off is better than anything else because it makes it less harmful.
Okay.
Now, it's true that the residue of that is another toxin, but not as toxic, right? So that would be the case. Now let's see though whether or not. Watch this. I'm a detective. See what I do is I look.
You're
deep.
a shit detective.
I look deep.
Okay.
Just hold on to this for a second.
What? Bryan, you already can ring it. Ring it because you got it right.
Well, no.
Yeah, ring it because you got it right.
That's an adorable. And by the way, how interesting that is probably the plot of a what? Fictional TV show.
Bryan,
we're not in fiction.
You don't understand sigil magic,
we're
okay?
What is it?
Well, they do things, symbolism, they do stuff. Basically where it's called predictive programming. They tell you what's going to happen.
Why would they do that?
because it's the. Can you play it one more time? We've been through this 1,000 times.
Why would they
play it one more time?
No.
We've done this 1,000 times.
Why would they
play it?
Can't play drops in the middle of a question. Can't do it. It's one of the laws.
Okay, go.
Well, no, he asked you a question. Why would
but the reason I want you to play is because he's asked that question.
No, but I'd like you. No, I didn't get a
Stop.
satisfactory answer.
Stop.
I've fallen.
No.
And I can't get
No.
up.
I refuse. I refuse.
Senior Moments with Bryan Callen.
Who did that? Who made that voice? Or was that you, son of a
I gotta
bitch?
find him. He's on Twitter. We'll say. So, Brian, the reason they do this because according to their occult rituals, they don't want to feel the karmic blowback of this. So, in their rule, if they warn you and you don't stop them,
you're already crazy.
No, I'm not already crazy.
So these people are in
Brian, you've asked why they do this. I'm telling you.
These people are in the occult?
Yes.
In the occult?
Yeah, the occult. Black magic. Black magic.
Our way to the neighborhood of make-believe.
Okay, dude.
Yeah, that's
You're just trying to be nice to him.
No. Because,
There's no you have
now you're
asked
saying
me.
occult
You've
and
asked
black
me.
magic, and
You have asked me why they do it. Thelema, all this adult cult rituals, they have to tell you what they're doing because if you don't stop them, it's on us. So they don't have any karma repercussions.
So these people,
yes,
these
people.
evil people who are in the occult,
yes,
are they? They're in the deep state.
Yeah, well, they're part of it. Yeah,
they're part of it.
Yeah.
They so in the bowels of, let's call it the CIA or something.
Yeah.
They practice black magic.
Yes, dude. Yes,
You're doing good today.
Yes, you're on fire today. This might be your best show yet.
So you think that there are people. So when you go through your training at CIA, you learn.
No, not everybody, Brian.
No.
What they do is they do the data. They're like, who's the psycho piece of shit
so
here? Let's move him forward into our little group.
So they get the psycho guys.
Piece of shit.
And
say it all.
And they take them down into the bowels of somewhere.
Yeah.
And they teach them.
They make them do weird butt stuff.
Yeah, they teach them black magic and weird butt stuff.
Yeah. Brian, think about this.
And you know what? I want to say this.
Soul, asshole.
That's lazy association, actually.
That's lazy association. That's lazy association. Also, I will say that's a brilliant. I've never heard that. I've been alive a long time.
So it's not lazy. It's funny association.
Been alive a long time.
It's called comedy, Dylan.
Hey, so East Palestine was home to industries in ceramics and tire manufacturing from the 1870s until the mid-1960s. It's located along the Norfolk Southern Railway and has a pretty big freight station.
There you go. It's a big station.
Yeah.
That's why. And what you do in your writing is you would go.
What did you do?
You would go. What say in a big freight station? They'd say
that doesn't help your argument.
They'd say, and in a big freight station where all these chemicals are sitting in trains, where would a terrorist most likely attack? Right.
Hold on,
there.
Brian.
So
Brian,
let's do
Brian, are you
let's
now
be
saying
ready
this
for
is
it.
a terrorist attack?
No, I'm saying let's be. The U.S. government has a due diligence to do its homework and be
Brian,
ready
has
for an
the
attack
US
on the electric
government
grid.
Ever attacked our own country?
No, never.
Have they ever allowed an attack to happen?
Never.
Okay.
I mean, do you want
Never.
to?
Yeah.
No.
way
It's never happened.
to the
Now
neighborhood of
listen. Is there?
I want to make a new rule right now on this show that no one is allowed to talk during a drop.
Okay, that's fine.
And I have to do it too.
Okay.
I have to be quiet.
I have a question for you.
What? Let him do the drop.
I have a question for you.
Let him do the drop.
All right, may I ask a question?
Okay, go on. Go on.
Is it your assumption that essentially, well, do you think it is appropriate for the U.S. government, depending on the department, to be ready for something like, let's say, Spanish flu, a very virulent pathogen that either escapes from a lab or comes out of nature? And should we be ready for a chemical spill? Should we be ready for a terrorist attack that's like a dirty bomb? Shouldn't we be ready for these things? Like, shouldn't we, as a government, simulate those things and how we're going to respond? True or false? Do you think
that's an interesting question.
Okay. Should we be ready for those
Because
things?
you've literally earlier mocked me saying that the government might have done this to test out an ID. So you're literally asking me the same question you just mocked me for.
I don't think the government would actually create a massive accident in real time that could have killed people because the liability is too much and nobody wants to get in trouble.
Hey, will you do me a favor? Will you look up something called Operation Northwood and read it to us again?
I know what Northwood.
Oh, you remember that, senior man?
I can help you with it. And I can also give you context for it.
Okay, Bryan.
And I will.
Oh, Bryan.
Because
I love this.
You guys use Operation Northwoods all the time, and there's a context to that.
Oh, Bryan, let's hear it.
I will.
I would love it.
I can't wait to
I would love to hear your theories
I'm gonna give it
on this thing you just discovered 3 months ago while other people have been talking about it for years, but Bryan now has solved it.
Yes.
Not fair.
Yeah.
What?
Not fair.
Why?
He knew.
No, hold on.
Bryan did not know about Operation Northwood more than 3 months ago.
Hold on. This is important.
Okay,
I'm going to address Northwood.
Okay.
I'm going to address Northwood. And I'm going to say also that your logic is flawed because then I suppose...
Bryan, this show is flawed,
I suppose the deep state...
It's been flawed since the start.
But the deep state caused a major accident, but the intention was a good one. So apparently they are good and they don't practice the occult.
What?
Well,
explain.
They decided to crash a train so that they could simulate how to respond in real time.
Right.
That would be a good thing. So we'd be ready for it. Right? Or I see the overall thing is to get those digital IDs out there.
What? Bryan?
Wait.
Okay.
Wait.
What just happened there?
There are people in the government that would love to have digital IDs because it's easier to track people and everything else.
Yes.
That
has been the movement almost from the start of this COVID stuff.
I believe 100% that there are people who, and I know that there are people because I know people who are this way who have, by the way, have made a lot of money and have a lot of power and who think it'd be a great idea
to track everybody.
100%.
Yes.
They think it'd be a great idea to have digital IDs, vaccine passports, and all that. They think, in fact, I would argue that there are a lot of people that think a social credit score would be an amazing thing because because the people who are pushing a credit score align with their ideology. And I 100% believe that. There are people who think that the government should be much bigger, much stronger, and this giant equalizer. Okay? Now, I think all of that is evil. I think all of that should be fought. And I mean fought like with everything we have. Because I think it's un-American, I think it's dangerous, and I think it's been tried before and has continued to be tried in places like China, and it doesn't work out so well. So if you want to call me a conservative, go ahead, because I am when it comes to this stuff. Now, Operation Northwoods. When you take a bunch of ideas, when the president says, give me all your ideas, and the Joint Chiefs of Staff say, here are all the ideas in a wartime scenario, the president looks at all of those, and those are written down. And the president goes, okay, that might be worst case scenario. That's in a wartime situation. That's doomsday. That's Armageddon time. There are different contexts for these things. The important thing is that McNamara and John F. Kennedy both said, no, we're not doing this. We are not killing American citizens. We're not going to blame, hey. All of these things were said no to by McNamara, Secretary of Defense, and John F. Kennedy.
Okay.
That's why civilians are supposed to run
Bryan,
things.
let me ask you something real quick, Bryan.
Yeah?
Let's say JFK and McNamara in Bizarro Town said, yeah, let's do that. Bryan, let's say they did that.
Yeah?
Do you think the CIA would have gone along with it?
There are people in the CIA that probably would have blown the whistle.
Okay. Oh my.
There are a lot of people in the CIA, and there are a lot of people in FBI, and I would argue most, who take the founding fathers' principles very seriously. They're conservative. And so I think that, are there bad apples? Are there people that take shortcuts? Of course. Does America have a history of taking shortcuts of our deep state getting out of hand? Of course. Is that happening now in some cases? Of course. Right? Of course.
Should really quickly just denounce Robert McNamara and call him a war criminal, because that's
this guy's nuts over here.
But
you're not.
That was a good move by Bob. But he is a fucking war criminal.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, Bob McNamara in that documentary, The Fog of War, I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah,
because as far as that guy was concerned, he admits it. He goes, "We were terrified of the communists."
Bryan, you are so delusional. You are so delusional.
What do you think? What do you think of McNamara?
McNamara, it was all done to get the golden triangle of poppy fields in Vietnam. Vietnam and China hated each other. It was never going to. They were never going to come together.
Sam, please don't be crazy.
Bryan, what?
You're crazy.
What?
I want you to pick up a history book. This
Bryan,
is important.
what?
Yeah, I need you.
What?
Yeah,
Bryan,
need you.
Sam,
I want you to pick up a history
book. Did we have U.S. troops guarding poppy fields in Afghanistan? What, Bryan? Answer the question, Bryan. Answer the question.
Not for the reasons you think.
Okay, Bryan.
Not for the reasons.
Unbelievable.
The reason we had a troop presence and we were destroying poppy fields was because that was how the Taliban was financing their entire war operation.
Completely wrong.
Now, Sam.
That is completely wrong, Bryan. Bryan, the Taliban was destroying the poppy fields.
Sam. So can I give you a history lesson?
No, you can't, Bryan.
Vietnam
Bryan,
was about
you cannot
communism.
give me a history lesson because your history says you don't know history.
Vietnam was the idea
Bryan,
that the communists were going to take over the world.
Stop it.
The North was running excursions into the South. Yes, and the French asked the Americans for help as they were being overrun by this communist, quote unquote, invasion. And the communist invasion wasn't just physical, it was mental.
Bryan.
And so the idea was that it was called Red Creep. It was called Red Creep. It was called
Bryan,
yes.
You are delusional.
The United States and the Soviet Union were in a Cold War.
You are.
They were in a Cold War.
Delusional.
The Vietnam War had
Bryan,
absolutely nothing.
Is the sky in your world?
You think the Vietnam War had to do with heroin?
Yes.
And
100%.
Because the United States was going to make money off of heroin?
Yes.
And McNamara specifically was going to make money off of heroin?
The pharmaceutical companies, yes. And the military
pharmaceutical
companies
needed that heroin?
Yes. Yes,
so
Bryan.
it was all about
opiates.
Morphine. It was all about morphine.
Opiates.
Back then it was about morphine.
Yes.
So the Vietnam War was fought over morphine.
Yes.
You know that there is not a historian in the world that would agree
Bryan,
with you?
not true at all. I've interviewed people.
Historian
not true at all.
You've interviewed
not true
people.
At all, Bryan.
You can't interview guys.
You can't interview
guys
at all
who live in their mom's basement and are on YouTube. That's not allowed.
All right, Bryan.
Okay.
All right, Bryan.
Let's stick to history and philosophy.
Yeah, Bryan.
I mean, scholars.
Bryan,
scholars.
Vietnam and China hated each other.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
They hated each other.
I'm aware of that.
They were never going to align.
Yes.
Ever.
And?
The domino theory was BS. Just like the domino theory that they're using right now with the Ukraine.
We know
it's
that
BS.
Now. We know that
no,
now.
Bryan.
But who is supporting the North Vietnamese?
Bryan, you're crazy.
Who is giving
Bryan,
the North Vietnamese
you're
weapons?
Crazy.
Who is
Bryan, we were never meant to win it. Have you ever read the law of the rules of engagement in Vietnam?
I know all
it was
that.
meant to prolong the war for the military-industrial complex. You're nuts.
But wait,
You're
Sam,
nuts.
Sam, wait.
You are nuts.
Who was supplying the North Vietnamese with their weapons?
Who, Bryan?
And their personnel?
Who, Bryan?
The Chinese and the Russians.
Bryan, you're crazy.
The Chinese and the Russians.
Bryan, you're crazy.
Are you saying that's not true?
Bryan,
that's
the
adorable.
Vietnamese hated China.
That's adorable.
No, but you're adorable.
Can you show me where the
You're adorable. I don't want to discuss.
Where are the Viet Cong getting their weapons, please?
We pretend that we're on our way to the neighborhood.
Hold on. For who is it for?
Sam Tripoli, you're out of your mind.
Yes! That is ridiculous. Yes! That is offensive. I appeal.
Yes!
I appeal.
You can't appeal. Your
I want that.
dead.
I want that. I want that.
Your Honor, I would like to
Your Honor,
motion that
I demand that is repealed.
Your Honor, the defendant
revoked.
Is not in his right mind and needs psychiatric evaluation because he's making up his own facts and his own history and talking to guys to just guys, and you can't talk to just guys, sir.
So let me get this right, Bryan. Let me get this right.
Hold on.
Oh my God, Wikipedia? Okay.
Well,
great.
Where else do you want to look?
All right. I think I might be done. I think I just quit the show.
But you keep saying that it's the industrial.
So this was a pretty sizable conflict in the Korean War, and the Marines left behind a lot of weapons. The weapons were then taken to the Chinese palace or head of state, the capital, and they were disarmed and given to Brother Ho Chi Minh, by the Chinese to fight the French and the U.S.
Knowledge. And this is common knowledge. And we know this. It's the same thing with the Middle
Bryan,
East.
you're ridiculous.
The Russians.
And you're ridiculous. And you're offensive. That doesn't mean they were so. That doesn't mean they were funding the war on the North. You're crazy. I'm over it. I'm out.
I mean, did I think Vietnam was a thorn in every single
fighting a new opium war.
To Sam's point, though.
Yes, Bryan. No, you're just ridiculous.
That may be so, but what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, it's true that the industrial complex, the military industrial complex exists. But what I'm saying is that Vietnam was such a thorn in Johnson's side.
Johnson wanted to prolong the war.
Bring up Johnson with
Bryan.
He's got his head in his hands. He's so
Bryan. You are just so drowned in deep state propaganda. It's
but he lost the election.
Unbelievable, Bryan.
Johnson didn't want it out of the war.
Propaganda.
He wanted out of the war.
You're unbelievable.
Wait, but
I'm sad.
But Sam,
my good friend is so.
Vietnam.
Botard.
Vietnam.
You're a potard. Do you know what a potard is, Bryan?
No, what is that?
It's a political retard. That's what you are.
Look at him right there. Look at him.
Oh my God, I'm so sad. He goes, you know what he's doing right there? How am I going to count all this money? That's what he's doing right there, because he owned part of the military-industrial complex.
That's facts.
Okay, Bryan?
He owned part of the military.
Yeah. Oh my God. There's so much money. I can't count it all. How many zeros are there?
What I'm saying is that the country was on fire over Vietnam, right? There was a lot of protesting, right? And it became a political liability. How do you get out of Vietnam? Get us the fuck out. And people woke up and said, "What are we doing there?"
Bryan, what are we doing? Literally, JFK got assassinated because he wanted to pull out of Vietnam, and that guy was a part of it.
Okay, now here's where I have to help you.
Bryan, I can't believe you're like 70 and you still believe these fairy tales.
What year was JFK pulled out of? Was assassinated?
What was it? 50 something?
No, buddy. See, this is where.
When is it? When was it? 60 something?
That's where I have to
70 something? 89 something?
1960 what?
I don't even know.
Okay, so we got to get our dates right.
No, we don't have to get our dates right.
Yeah.
1963?
There you go. Now that's good. 1963. Now, when did the Americans get pulled into Vietnam?
When?
When was the Tet Offensive?
Okay, Bryan. I love that.
Was it 1968?
I love that, Bryan.
Was it 1968?
I love the argument you're making right now.
1968?
You're like the grammar Nazi when you have nothing.
Was it 1968? Maybe.
What?
Huh?
What?
Right.
What?
Right? When did the U.S. get full blown? And when were advisors first in Vietnam?
Right, just tell me. Just tell me.
Well, we didn't have really a
Stop
presence.
yelling at me.
Vietnam wasn't really on anybody's lips. Nobody knew where Vietnam was in 1963 in America. That was not something that the
Okay, so I got the timeline wrong.
Right.
Okay.
You just said he got assassinated because he wanted to pull out of Vietnam.
No, I got the timeline wrong.
Okay, so let's not say he got assassinated.
Bryan, ring the bell. I got the timeline wrong. I mean, we have to celebrate.
And that's why sometimes it's time for Teacher Bryan to teach.
Here's the
naughty
biggest thing, Bryan.
Because you're naughty Sam.
Here's the biggest thing, Bryan. We're now going to start doing things called religious holidays on the show where we celebrate wins that Bryan's had. It's going to be like, on this day in 2023, look, Bryan got something right on the show.
You have a boo-boo right now, and you got a boo-boo, and I need Dylan. Do you want him to mouth your boo-boo? He can mouth your boo-boo.
Okay,
Dylan,
so go on.
Is your mouth soft?
French gangs involved in the drug operations have increasingly difficulty in getting heroin to the U.S. There we go. Tell me, troop figures show 3.7%. Yeah, dude. I mean,
but it wasn't about
Brian, I don't want to discuss. What else we got to talk about?
Sam,
we got a lot of stuff to talk about.
But
let's go on. Next subject.
The Cold War was
Brian,
raging.
I accept that I got the timelines wrong.
I know.
What I will not accept is that Vietnam was about stopping communism.
But it was.
Okay?
It
No,
was.
it wasn't, Brian. No, it wasn't.
But Sam,
It wasn't.
I mean, everyone would disagree with you.
I would disagree with you.
But the Cold War was in full effect, right? The Soviets were trying to take over the world. The United States was trying to spread their influence, right? Yeah, true or false? Africa,
I'm
Middle
not
East.
even in. Go on.
Lady Bird Johnson was part of the military-industrial complex. That's just facts.
Oh,
Thank
boy.
you.
Okay.
Thank you. I don't even know what that means, but thank you.
Do you know what the Cold War was?
Can we move on?
But you know what the Cold
I
War
have other things I want to talk about.
Brian, you won.
You won one. No, Brian, you didn't win.
No,
you
I
got
won.
dates right.
We know that I won.
No, you didn't win.
We know that
Brian,
Sam
you
doesn't
did not
know
win.
anything about the Cold
Brian,
War or its
Brian,
effects on
God
the
have mercy on your soul
God
in the
bless you,
comment
your
section.
soul. Hey, why don't you go ahead and defend this, Brian, since you're such a patriot?
Yeah, Brian. FBI search for Pennsylvania wildlife, a cache of gold. A treasure hunter wants to know what it found. Okay.
Do you think it's okay for treasure hunters to tip off the FBI as to where there might be historical treasure, and then the FBI comes in and just scoops it up out of the man's backyard without telling him at all, and then puts it into their financial reserves instead of giving it to museums and whatnot? Do you think that's okay?
Well, so let's examine.
Brian, call one of your freaking friends at the FBI and ask them why they did that.
Let's examine that.
Okay.
Are you saying the FBI has a shortage of money?
No, Brian.
Right.
What we're saying is that these particular FBI people were scumbags and jacked this guy's swag.
They might have taken it for themselves. If they were FBI, were they wearing FBI jackets?
Yeah.
And
I mean, there's a lot going on with this story. First of all, who calls the FBI when you think you found gold?
that's what I was saying.
Right?
Yeah.
You're like, hey, let's find
guys,
the gold and figure it out
found
after.
some gold.
Yeah.
I have a friend who found $300,000 worth of silver in someone's house when they were renovating the house. Like found it in the walls. This rich guy bought this house, and I said, "Did you keep the silver?" And my friend is super honest, and he said, "No, I told the owner. The owner now has that silver."
Well, you know what I tell you,
That's
buddy?
how
I think
honest
that's
my
totally
buddy is.
different, and I would do the same thing that your boss did.
Would
your
you?
buddy.
So that's a good question. Let's ask this. So you're working on a house. Somebody buys the house.
Yes.
They don't know anything about the house. You open a wall. There's
Yeah.
silver in that wall.
Yeah.
I would take that silver because I don't think it belongs
Because
to
you're
him.
a scumbag.
But it doesn't belong to him. Does it or does it? He didn't know that silver was in there, and that silver
It's his house,
But that
bro.
silver belongs to somebody else.
Yeah, but I've hired you to renovate my house. You've discovered something on in my house.
And you're
It's
not-
mine.
Are you not allowed to steal that silver?
No, I mean, you literally used the word steal. I
Finders
think you
keepers.
answered.
Oh, hold
You
on.
literally were used the word
Can't you
steal.
do finders keepers?
No.
Really?
It's your house. How that's totally different than the FBI.
What do you think? Is that theft?
If you go in and renovate someone's kitchen, you blow out a retaining wall and then or a
No.
wall
He
that-
it was a house he hadn't moved into yet, so he just bought.
But
the
he
house.
owned yeah, but you
So he bought the house. It's
He
his
bought the
property,
house in
right?
discussion.
Oh, yeah,
But does that mean that the silver he didn't know existed, that was put there by the previous owner or
Yeah.
somebody back in
Yeah.
the day?
Yeah.
Does that silver belongs to him?
Yeah, it belongs to him now.
Yeah.
But he didn't buy silver.
But it belongs to him
But he
now.
bought the house.
He bought the house. So everything in the house and in the walls belongs to him.
Yeah.
That's fair. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Is
Sam's
he-
saying that doesn't
Are you allowed
belong
to take a
him.
little? Hey, are you
No,
allowed?
it does belong to
It
him. He's
does
saying
belong
it
to him.
doesn't.
Are you allowed to take just a little bit?
No, I mean, if I was a guy, I would go, wow, man, thank you. Here's 50G in silver.
He did do that,
Yeah.
from what I heard, but then he didn't. Then he reneged.
What? So he didn't do
So
it.
it is. Is it his house? I
Brian,
it's his
Brian,
silver.
you know the answer
It's
here.
his silver.
If you don't want to
I don't know.
not
I
that-
actually had a whole moral dilemma on this.
Yeah, because you're a scumbag.
If you
Yeah.
don't want to talk about this story, it's fine. It's a weird
Wait,
story.
I do want to talk about.
I do want to talk about it. So the guy in your story, not his story, where he wants to be a thief scumbag, okay? In this story, that guy's an idiot for calling the FBI.
Yes.
I would have tried to find. If I knew there was gold there, I would have done everything I could to find
Okay,
said
hold
gold.
on. What if it was on someone else's property?
Yeah, again, Brian, you're stealing then. Do you not
if
understand
it's
property
if
law?
it's on someone's property,
Yeah.
And it's buried in the ground, but it doesn't belong to that person. It
does belong to them, Bryan.
Anything under the ground belongs to you.
Yes, on your property.
All right.
What?
I guess
I
that's
think
fair.
there's probably a certain legal depth.
Well, I mean, like the government.
You know what I mean?
Dylan, pull up $250 million seizure in cash. Take a look at these pictures. They found $250 million in cash in a house. Okay? Now watch this. I have a question. It was a drug thing.
Yeah.
It was in a house.
Yeah.
That was legally owned.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of illegal cash. It was $250 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you knew that they were out of the house, would you break into that house and steal that cash?
Okay. If I knew he'd been arrested and and I was a bad man.
Look at that. Look at that right there. Look at that. Right there. Look at that. That's
listen,
how
dude,
crazy is that?
You know why I wouldn't do that? Because I know there's bad people associated with that money.
Yeah.
And they're going to want that money.
Yeah.
Oh,
so I wouldn't
I'm
go.
saying if you could get away with it, it'd be very
No,
tempting.
but Bryan, no, I wouldn't.
You would not.
Because
Go back
I know
there,
that,
go back
Bryan,
there.
because you're talking about Can you take us to fantasy land real quick? Because Bryan thinks there's a place where drug dealers wouldn't find out that you took some of their $250 million.
Well, so they made this arrest, right? But that money had been sitting there and it was in the walls of that house and it was drug money. So if I went in there with a duffel bag, I had the balls, me and my friends, and we fucking took $30 million in cash. And I took it out and made the world a better place.
I wouldn't want that because
Karma?
those guys are going to find that money.
Well, let's say they didn't
because
find
you're going to tell somebody,
yeah.
hey man, I found 50. I just found 30 mil. And word is going to
The
spread,
minute
bro.
that happens. You know, that's the thing, right? Were you the one who told me that? You tell somebody you trust and they tell 2 people they trust and then they tell 3 people they trust. Pretty soon you're fucked.
Yeah.
It gets to those guys.
Well, it's not just that. It's just once you put it out to the ether, it's out there and people can download it.
Yep.
It's just the way it is.
Yep.
Okay. So we have to break down this McDonald's fight that Sam sent.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why you sent it.
Well, I want to break it down because it's super interesting because she is. So this is a woman. I'm really big. And this girl was. So
she looks strong.
Well, no. It's very interesting because I have my own opinions on this chick. But this woman went to McDonald's, made an order. The order didn't come out the exact way she wanted to, and she went nuts. Somebody filmed this, put it on the internet. The internet found out who she was, where she worked, and got the woman in red fired from her job.
Okay.
So I want you to watch this because it's super interesting. I have my theories on what's going on with this woman in red. Watch.
Mr. Ketchup? Where's your manager? Can I speak to your manager? I asked for extra ketchup and I got ketchup. What is this? What is this? This is so much ketchup.
Now she says she asked for extra ketchup. And now she's saying there's so much ketchup.
Yeah, let me see. Keep going.
Okay.
She's
I'm on a diet.
Okay.
Sugar, ketchup.
So, if you're asking me, we'll get into this one. Keep going.
Does she go?
Can you jump to the end where she addresses it?
People found out where I work and they sent the video to my employer. I was then fired from my job. That's right, I was fired, which I find to be extremely unfair because all I was doing was going to get my weekly cheat meal, and it was the McDonald's employees that did not follow the simple directions that I asked for.
She's Canadian,
I felt that
obviously.
I had the right to come in and let them know that my burger was not made correctly. I did nothing wrong. Literally, I did nothing wrong. So please leave me alone. This is extremely unfair of you guys to do this to me. Thank you.
So if you're asking me, she's autistic.
Yeah, it's very interesting. We're in a weird time where
you can't really fuck up.
everybody is watching all the time, and then they can. That's on her employer, right? Yeah. I think that's on her employer. Her employer should say, "I'm not going to fire you for this because you were having a moment." Right now, that can I just say something? That woman might have been doing that at her work, and they were looking for any excuse to get rid of her.
Like she doesn't have an emotional way to control her emotions.
Well, she looks like a difficult person.
Yeah.
What is this?
So what I get very scared because we have young children. You have older kids than me and one younger kid than mine. But your young kid and my young kids are in a weird kind of around the same age. Mine's 3, yours 1, right? I get very nervous, man, because I'm watching these videos now. Nobody's stopping fights anymore. Yeah. People are just filming these fights.
It's like hockey.
And it's like, no, dude, back in the day, you stepped in. There was push, everybody stopped. Not anymore, man. Especially with girls. You're seeing women just nailing people with like head trauma, knocking these people out. Yeah. And people just sit there and watch.
It might have always been going on, but now we're seeing it on camera.
No, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. But back in my day, you stopped the fight after a couple throws. Very rarely did you sit there and let somebody just get knocked out cold.
That's UFC shit. We're so desensitized to this shit now. Right?
It one time happened to me. Dude, I got jumped by these guys and I just covered my head and he started kicking me. And then people around were like, okay, it's over. Stop. And I was very lucky because I covered my head because his buddy, oh shit, his friend's here.
Happened to me.
Bang, cover my head.
I feel like you're inside of a fucking a dryer, a washing machine.
I'm a weird dude because I get hit in my head. I can't feel it.
Yeah.
Dude, I've been punched. I'm like, well, I didn't feel that.
Yeah, you can go. You get knocked out.
You think
brain shuts off.
You think you could feel it if a nuclear weapon got dropped on you?
Putin pulls back from last remaining arms control pact with the U.S. There's an interesting thing going on with this, Dylan, is that people have talked about how subs have caused whales to die. And there's some people who think that all these whales washing up on shore right now is about there's a lot of
that's been going on for a long time. So that fucks with their sonar because the Navy shoots sonar signals and that gets in the way of their dolphins and whales. So that's a theory that they get disoriented and they get beached. But that's been going on since literally the 70s.
But we've been seeing a lot of whales washing up dead on the shore. And some people are saying that this might be a sign that there's a lot of sub activity going on, Bryan.
Oh, I see now. Oh, that makes sense.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah, well, I think we're all on high alert, and I think that the idea is: do you bleed the Russians dry on the Ukrainian battlefield? Do you let them go all the way? What do you do?
Well, Bryan, I believe that the military-industrial complex of the West wants war. I believe this is biblical. They've talked about this in the...
I'm not...
Did you just mock me?
I am not laughing at you.
You're laughing with me?
Face.
No, I'm just saying. Go on. You think it's biblical?
Yes.
I just want to cross my legs because I like to get into a Zen
Yeah,
position.
and you like to molest your legs.
I do.
Your poor freaking legs are going to grow up and do hardcore porn because they got touched so much.
I'm so optimized.
When you talk about eternal Khazarian battles, he does get into the lotus position.
I just tell you that my friend, who is very much into Bible and Bible prophecies, has told me he predicted the EU way before the EU happened. He told me about 9/11 way before it happened. And he says there is a war that will happen between the pagans and the lost tribes of Israel.
Between the pagans and the lost tribes of Israel would be the Jews.
And we lose.
Would be the Jews. So
we lose.
So the Jews.
And we lose.
So you're saying the Jews as a group are at war with the entire world.
And we lose.
And they win. So Israel is going to attack the world.
No, Israel, the UK, and the United States are the lost tribes of Israel.
Oh, so the United States, so most of the Americans or all of them are Jewish?
Bryan, you dumb fuck. Okay?
Well, the lost tribes of
Israel. That's why they're lost.
Well, no, because
they're lost tribes.
But that would mean
I'm Armenian.
No, but they got there was the diaspora when God turned his back
Brian,
on them.
I can't discuss this anymore. But you have tapped me. I am drowning in stupid right now.
No,
okay,
we have to talk about.
But the lost tribes of Israel would be when God turned his back at the last book in the
Brian,
Bible, in the Old Testament.
The lost tribes of Israel.
There was a diaspora.
The U.S., UK, Israel.
How about looking
those are the one team. Pagans probably are Russians, Chinese, Iran, Germany.
How many tribes of Israel are there? Do you know?
Isn't there like
12?
12? Yeah, I said that. You gotta let me answer.
Can you look up the lost tribes of Israel?
No, I don't want to do this anymore.
I don't think they went to.
Brian,
I don't think they went to America.
I'm done with you.
But did they go to America?
I'm done with you. I'm done.
But I don't know that they're the The lost tribes of Israel aren't in America, are they?
Daddy's taking too much.
Okay, let's see. Lost tribes of Israel. 10 of the original 12 Hebrew tribes, or the 12 Hebrew tribes.
Yeah, a lot.
Which, under the leadership of Joshua, took possession of Canaan, the promised land, after the death of Moses. They were named Asher, Dan, Ephraim, Gad, Ashakar.
How hilarious
Manasseh,
is that
Naphtali,
one of their names is Dan?
Reuben, Simeon, and Zebulun.
Asher! God! Asher! Hey, Dan.
Yep.
Dan just shows up
but I don't
in
see
a tie-dye with some fucking dreads. It's like, hey, smoking J's, bro.
Say Ohio.
Hey, I'm Dan.
It doesn't say Ohio or Mississippi.
Brian, I'm out. I have to really decide whether this show needs to go on anymore because of you're drowning us in stupid right now.
But how did do you know how the lost tribes got?
No, but you were talking about this guy who's obviously a prophet.
No, he reads the Bible.
Oh, and the Bible in it, if you know how to read it, because he's reading it secretly, has answers for what's going on today.
Yeah, it predicts stuff, you dumbass.
No, listen. What else did he predict? So 9/11 was predicted in the Bible?
Yeah.
Huh? Can we get him on?
My good friend Tony Dorado.
Tony Dorado.
Tony Dorado. Put some respect on his name, bro.
Tony Dorado.
Dorado. Why are you laughing at my friend?
Is he from Jersey?
No, he's from upstate New York, you asshole.
He's Italian.
I'm sorry. Is his dad not hanging out with Osama bin Laden drinking boba? I'm sorry, bro.
My dad apparently met Osama bin Laden.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said that.
Which I don't believe, but he says he did. Now, so
Brian,
what else?
When we get in the new studio, we're going to start having guests on.
Yes.
Okay.
We're getting into a new studio, everybody. Hope you're ready.
I don't know if that's true or not.
We're notching this show.
It is true. We can't be in this room anymore.
No, we notching this show up, kids. We notching.
I'm trying so hard to rock. So freaking hard to rock.
All right.
Well, guys, I hope you go to samtripoli.com. Check out this. Also, if you love the show, give us a 5-star review. If you subscribe, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And if you think your followers on whatever social media likes this show, share it on your social media. Let your friends know.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel right now. Write in what conspiracies should we cover on this show.
We would love to know that. Who should we have on?
Yes.
I have to be very selective.
What are your favorite
Because they're
conspiracies?
just going to come in and just pound.
Should we have somebody with a rational mind and a command of history?
Brian's going to be like that chicken gangbang porn where you're like, oh my God, you're taking all the D? God, no.
No.
Yeah.
All right, guys, take care. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
See ya in Tacoma.
When people ask, is everything a conspiracy? The answer is yes. Who and what is controlling everything and why? They practice sorcery. I can't argue against magic. I don't know what it is that we live on, but I believe it's a realm. This realm that we live in is the lowest level of heaven, highest level of hell. Chicken snake gods and the Anunnaki and sorcery. If Sam says the chicken snake god is running everything, I'm literally in the world of crazy. I'm winning.
You're losing. Conspiracy Social Club, a.k.a. Deep Waters.